Hi, folks. Here we are, find ourselves in very tough times. There seems to be a lot of people angry, frustrated. They're out camping in public spaces all over the country. They're rattling around, but honestly, listening to them, they don't seem to have any idea what's happening to them or what they might do about it. So it does seem to me to be sort of an expression, a kind of a useless expression of anger and frustration that the system isn't working anymore. This video is one of my ideas about what we might be able to do. It's not my idea. I actually heard about it from other people, but I'd like to publicize it. It's an analysis of what's wrong and what we might do to correct it. Thanks for watching. I hope you learn something or it makes some sort of sense for you. Thanks a lot and good luck. You wake up one day and have a headache, a runny nose, and an upset stomach. You can take aspirin for the head, get a decongestant for your nose, and drink some Pepto-Bismol to settle your stomach. Or, if you still have health care, you can go to the doctor, he'll run some tests, he'll find out what's really wrong with you, and he'll give you something to cure the disease that is creating all these symptoms. We are faced with financial collapse, a lack of jobs, a weak housing market, soaring health costs, corporations using taxpayer money to pay their failed managers ridiculously high bonuses, and many other evils. We can run around trying to treat each symptom individually, but I submit there is a fundamental disease that if we get down to it and can correct it, will eliminate all these other symptoms. Recently, Mitt Romney was castigated for saying that corporations are people. Well, much as I disagree with Mitt Romney on a lot of things, he's actually right on this one. The legal fact is that the Supreme Court, in a case called Citizens United, ruled that corporations are legally people and have a right to all the constitutional protections that are afforded regular people. This means in operationally that corporations are free to spend as much money on political campaigns as they want without any kind of restriction. This ruling has essentially in one stroke overthrown years of campaign finance reform legislation. It has contradicted and flown in the face of the will of our founding fathers, who, when the country was new, were very distrustful of the power of corporations and did everything everything they could to limit corporations to a very strict set of rules and regulations, one of which was very commonly that the corporation could not make any expenditure on political matters. Ever since the founding of the country, an army of corporate lawyers have worked day in and day out to circumvent these restrictions, and year in, year out, generation after generation, they have been incrementally successful until we come to the present situation where the government, by the people, for the people, has been replaced by a government by the corporations, for the corporations. Of course, let's not be naive. The rich people and corporations have always found a way to buy politicians. They they used to send them on very expensive golfing trips, all expenses paid. And in the good old days, they used to just bring them brown paper bags full of cash. Well, the expensive trips are illegal. The brown paper bags full of cash are illegal. But unfortunately, unlimited campaign contributions are now perfectly legal. It's an old saw that a man's politics is determined by the way he makes a living. And trust me, as long as a legislator's living depends on the support of big money contributors, corporations, PAC funds, rich people, etc., he will serve the interests of those big money contributors, and the interests of the majority of people will go begging. Let's consider a little thought experiment. Would you willingly play a game using real money in which after each round of play, the player with the most money could change one of the rules of the game in his favor? I know I wouldn't. In each round of the game would become progressively more and more unfair. It would essentially be, it would turn from some sort of a game of chance to just a formalized method of taking all my money. Well, that's what has happened in the present legal situation that we find ourselves. So what's to be done? Well, the truth is that real people are a fact. They exist in space and time. Corporations, on the other hand, are just a legal fiction. There was a time when there were no corporations, and there may be a time in the future where there are no corporations. People created the laws that allow corporations to exist, and now corporations have sort of gotten into the position where they can create their own laws to continue and enhance their power. But that doesn't mean that people couldn't change the laws to eliminate that power that corporations presently have. Well, how would we go about doing this? The Roberts Court, the conservative court that passed Citizens United, the ruled in Citizens United in favor of corporate personhood, could be replaced. Maybe one of the conservative justices will die. Maybe somebody will retire. But it could be 30 or 40 years. It's a long haul. These guys have a long lifespan. Barring changing the makeup of the court and revisiting the whole issue, we could try to get a constitutional amendment. Now, a constitutional amendment is brought about by a constitutional convention, which can be convened either by the federal legislature, but that's not going to happen. Those people have already been bought. They're not going to do anything to rock the apple cart. They're making money off the present situation. Alternatively, a convention could be called by 2/3 of the states' legislatures passing bills demanding a constitutional convention. It just seems to me that this is probably a more reasonable way that we might get this thing done if we could put our efforts in our grassroots organization to put pressure on the state legislatures to pass these bills asking for a constitutional convention. We might actually get somewhere. The state of Vermont has already passed such legislation. 4 or 5 other states have bills pending. And if we got organized and started writing letters to state legislators and bringing up the whole question and answer periods when your state congressman is running for re-election, pestering these people, we might actually get enough of these bills passed to get a convention and change the law, specifically an amendment that would say that the protections of the Constitution apply to biological persons only and not to legal entities of any shape or form. The reason we have a corrupt government that does not address the needs of its people is because we have substituted democracy of $1, one vote for a democracy of one man, one vote. Personally, and I hope you'll agree with me, the essence of this democracy is that a poor man's vote should count just as much as a rich man's vote. And until we take the steps, the political steps, to alter the legal system so that one man gets one vote, end of story, we are going to suffer from this disease that we have right now. Thank you very much for listening. Bye.